Welcome to the Draft Professor, everybody. My name's Jim. I am joined today by Mark, huge Denver Broncos fan and podcaster. Mark, it's the first time you're on our station. Thank you for joining. How are you this fine afternoon?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, man. Thanks for having me. Super excited about the opportunity. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the show. Watch a lot of the different videos that you have. And it's great to be a part of it this time. So,
Yeah, so it's great to have you on the other side of the camera. You've mentioned backstage that you've talked with Andy, who's podcasted with Draft Professor before. What do you think Denver needs to accomplish as they enter this upcoming draft?
yeah, no, I love Andy, man. Andy's awesome. One of my go-tos when it comes to just draft stuff in general. So shout out to Andy. But I think the big thing with the Broncos, obviously, we got really close to the goal that we wanted to this year. But I think the big thing is, addressing the weaknesses on this team, getting younger at specific positions. Those biggest weaknesses, in my opinion, being, the tight end room, the running back room, getting some more talent around Bo Nix. But even defensively, right, we're starting to age out in a few positions. We got some holes at inside linebacker. I really can see this going a multitude of ways. I mean, when you're a team that is really complete and as deep as Denver is, it's always surprising to hear like there's a lot of different ways. But I feel like even O-line is an area where we could address, because even though we had one of the best units in the league, again, you don't want to catch yourself with your pants down. All of a sudden you have a bunch of old players that are getting older and nobody there to replace them. You see what that does to teams like the Cowboys, for example. So, but yeah, biggest thing is I want some impact guys. I want some year one impact players in the draft. So we'll see how this goes.
Okay. Well, we're going to be going through a lot of Denver Broncos mock drafts today. We're going to use the Draft Professor Simulator. The first thing we're going to do is what's known as a first round fanatic challenge. So Mark is going to talk us through his best 5 first round scenarios for Denver. So we'll let the simulator get going. I'll read off who the first 29 picks were. And thank you for stopping by. Defensive tackle, offensive line, wide receiver. It's interesting because I posted offensive line going in round 1 to Denver, and there were people on Twitter that didn't like that.
No.
So,
okay.
And that's all good, right? I'm never going to make everybody happy. But round 1 right now is Mendoza, Reese, Maui Noah, Bain, Tate, Lemon, Downs, Tyson, Bailey, Woods, Styles, Delane, McCoy, Ione, Falk, McDonald, Freeling, Love, Fano, Lomu, Terrell, Pregnon, Sadiq, Boston, Banks, Concepcion, Ian Achor, Dunker, Simpson. Denver's on the clock at 30. Thoughts on what you would do here, Mark?
Oh man, a couple of guys I really love. Lee Hunter would be a big surprise if he was there available at 30. He'd be somebody that I'd be really, really intrigued by. Fortify that defensive line, replace John Franklin Myers, who I think is going to be walking. Obviously, the most important, I guess the most commonly mocked person here is CJ Allen. So that would be one that you'd obviously consider. And I'm a ginormous Omar Cooper fan. I would probably give that some thought. Kristen Miller is another defensive lineman. But if it felt like this in the first option, I wouldn't be able to pass on somebody like Lee Hunter, to be honest with you, on the D-line. Yeah. So let's go with that.
Okay, so we go with Lee Hunter in round 1. Simulator starts its second mock. Lee Hunter is sniped 4 picks before Denver is on the clock.
Okay. I dig it.
So I'm looking. So Casey Concepcion was taken 1 pick later, so he didn't drop.
Okay. No worries. We got CJ. Yeah, there's a lot of guys here. I mean, I'd even be intrigued by Caden Proctor, because I think he's probably better at guard, and we have, it could give you some tackle stuff down the road too. But yeah, I mean, in this one, I'm really high on CJ Allen. I think it's a great linebacker class, but I would probably take him in this particular scenario.
Okay, so Lee Hunter, CJ Allen, both sniped before Denver picks at 30. So this might be Andy's favorite one because wide receivers finally dropped. I know Andy is very passionate about Denver adding a wide receiver, but I know not all Denver fans agree with him.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, no, I would love, obviously, if it felt like this and Denzel Boston was there, I'm running my card up to go because I feel like, Denver, we're always on the search for wide receiver one, and it's a lot harder said than done, right? Especially when you're picking 30. And so I feel like it's got to be a specific type of receiver that you feel like can either elevate the room or be a future one. And any one of the three guys, like I think Omar Cooper would be fantastic in Denver. In this case, I would definitely take Denzel Boston because I think he fits the prototype of what we're looking for. So yeah, I'd be thrilled with Denzel, falling to 30 there.
Well, and it's working out really well that the guys you like are at the top of the board. Denver fans use this simulator a lot. The simulator is interactive, so it learns who you like, and those are the players that go to the top. The players that are most often picked are the ones at the top. So,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised Sadiq hasn't fallen in this one then, because I know that's a big one.
Sadiq. Yeah, so this one Sadiq went to Dallas.
Yeah. All right, so we got Allen. We took Lee Hunter. We took Denzel Boston, right? Those are the three?
Yep.
Okay.
So if they're all off the board, what would Denver do?
If those are, so let's see. Let's God, Dunker, man, I would not mind that either. Safeties. Oh man, there's one there. I mean, we can make it fun. I might do another receiver, but let me see if you don't mind the tackles real quick. Okay. Yeah.
Blake Miller and Ian Achor are both here.
Oh man, Ian Achor would be good too. Okay. And then let's take a look at I'm not gonna say Casey better. I'm not gonna take a look at running backs. There's no tight end that I would take at this particular spot. I know that. Let me see the D line again real quick, if you don't mind. Kristen Miller. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna make this fun. I just noticed. Yeah, Jennings Dunker. You have him in an interior offensive lineman, though, right?
Correct.
Which I think he could play. I think he could play, but I think he'd be phenomenal at guard too. He'd be one of the ideal guys that I would like for Denver. I think 30 might be a little early, but I'm gonna go with Jennings Dunker because he could play guard immediately and maybe be a future tackle for you at some point too. So I'm all about the trenches.
Yeah. So I think one of the issues with taking wide receiver this early, and this is me being devil's advocate because, I mean, we'll take KC Concepcion for Buffalo at 26, right?
Yeah.
But there's a couple of data points. First, wide receiver in round 1 and 2 is the same bust rate or hit rate, whichever way you want to measure it. Meaning you're just as likely to hit on a round 2 wide receiver as a round 1. Mm-hmm. And then as several Broncos people at Draft Professor pointed out, Denver's got a reasonably good wide receiver room. There's no guarantee that the player that you're adding is going to see the snaps needed to justify, like you had mentioned, Mark, an immediate impact.
Yeah.
If you're not getting that immediate impact, either because of, let's say, skill set or position duplication, I think that may push Concepcion down some teams' boards.
Yep. No, I agree entirely. And, that's why like somebody like even like Chris Bell, for example, right? If he didn't get injured and he didn't tear his ACL, I think in my opinion, he's definitely a first round wide receiver. And so my whole thing is like, I'd be even fine taking him at 30 with that exact logic in mind, in the sense of like, he's probably not going to contribute too much this year, but I don't know how much a rookie wide receiver would anyway. So if you're going to go that route, go with someone that has that really high upside that can be wide receiver one. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you in terms of the the Broncos room. It's kind of a good and a bad problem to have. It's a good problem to have because you've got some good talent and some good developmental players, but it's bad because you're constantly finding yourself searching for who can be that wide receiver one when it doesn't necessarily have to be that. It's just who can elevate the room, and that makes it really tough. So completely agree with you there. So
and another great point on Chris Bell that we should point out, if you're a playoff team, right? So if you're any of the teams that are picking from 21 further down, you don't get a chance to add a Chris Bell to your team. Like, okay, so the Rams are picking pretty high because of the trade. But and then Philly got to pick high because they made a trade. But if you had to think from Pittsburgh all the way on down the draft order, how often are they picking in the top 15 to get a player of Chris Bell's caliber?
Exactly.
It's, the Willis McGahee, that's like, maybe at this point I'm dating myself, that may have been 20 or 25 years ago. But he was picked at the back of round one with the statement that, well, if we were a better team, or excuse me, if he were healthy, we wouldn't have been able to pick him. We don't usually get to pick a player this good. So even if you have to wait a year, waiting a year for a good player when you don't get a chance to get a player that good most other years, I would agree about Chris Bell at 30. But if Hunter, Allen, Boston, and Dunker are off the board, Mark, who's your best player available?
It's tough. I like that. So you got, all right, so Hunter, Allen, Boston, Dunker, all gone. At this, man, as much as I love Emmanuel and McNeil Warren, again, I just don't. I just fear that it'll be kind of a year like, similar to what we had with Jahdae Barron last year. I'm a big Omar Cooper, a giant Omar Cooper fan. But again, just like you said, that bust rate, it always scares me to go that direction. So one thing I want to look at before, and then Chris Bell, I just like the upside there. Let's see here. Let me think. Man, this is it's always tougher when you're on the spot here. I like those guys. All right. Let me see the defensive lineman, if you don't mind, real quick, and then I'll probably. I mean, Kristen Miller makes a lot of sense. He would fit in that role for JFM as well. But let's have fun. We talked about it. Let's go with Chris Bell on this one. Okay.
So that's
he would be. Bell would just be another Barron situation. I know. In this situation, it's almost tough because I feel like in my opinion, outside of those top four, I don't really know who would be an instant impact right away anyway. So, you might as well go with the best future pick. But yeah, I like it. It'd be fun.
Yep. And ultimately, I think Barron was probably drafted because he was probably the highest graded player by a lot when Denver was on the clock.
Yeah.
So that gives really good data that the GM doesn't look at needs early. He's trying to make sure that he's added the best player to the roster. And Certainly. Then a year later, the GM looks really smart.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that's really going to be like the way that we go. And obviously free agency is so important. I mean, one thing we know about George Payton too, is he will fill the needs in free agency, whether it's with guys that you think can actually fill the needs or not, but he wants to go into this draft without any glaring needs. And so I can foresee that going, which is why I try to think like, I would like to be this player, but I feel like, we're probably going to fill those needs. And then how's that going to work out? So I always try to forecast that, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's going to go with BPA or someone that could really be a high impact next year. And with Chris Bell, what's cool about that pick, like we had mentioned, it's you're basically taking a first round caliber player that's going to start in 2027. Well, in the 27 draft, when we have a first round pick, you can almost think like, all right, we already got Chris Bell as our other first round pick. So in a way, you're kind of thinking, you got two, which could be exciting as well. But it does suck that you have to wait a little bit to, kind of get the fruits of that labor.
Okay, so the top 5 players were Lee Hunter, CJ Allen, Denzel Boston, Jennings Dunker, Chris Bell. Is one of those picks your favorite?
Man, I would say Lee Hunter would probably be my favorite pick.
Okay.
You know, I know everyone wants offense, but I would be thrilled if he fell to 30 in the draft. So
Okay, so we're going to do some more mocks with Mark right now. This time we're going to turn on fanatic mode and we're bumping it up to 8. So we're going to do 4-round mocks. We're going to do 8 of them. Denver has 5 picks in the first 4 rounds. So ultimately, Mark is going to tell us about 40 players that he likes for Denver, spread out over each of those round 1 through 4 picks. Mark will not be allowed to pick the same player twice. So fanatic mode is a way to force you to do unique mock drafts. So we're going to have some fun. And usually by about mock draft 6, it's, oh, this is hard. So we'll see when we get to that point. So this mock went really similar to the last first round challenge that we did. Lee Hunter is sitting here. Is there any other player you'd want to look for that would be a better pick than Lee Hunter?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think he'd probably be I love the idea of the trenches so much in the draft, and I think he's a game changer. So
if you go Lee Hunter in round 1, and Chris Bell is sitting there at the top of the board for your round 2 pick.
Yep. Yeah. For me, that makes a lot of sense. I would definitely take Chris Bell there in the second if he was, which would be the ideal scenario, but would he fall? We'll see. But yeah, that would be ideal to get him in round 2.
You were willing to take him in round 1.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So you do Lee Hunter, Chris Bell, rounds 1 and 2. What are you thinking in round 3?
So here's where I kind of like the idea of some tight ends. I would look to see which tight ends were available. Now the difficult part is like we're so picky with the types of tight ends that we're looking for. Like Eli Stowers, I love, but no way, in my opinion, would Sean Payton draft him and utilize him. I love Raritan, but this might be a little bit early. So my favorite tight end pick would probably be Justin Joly at this particular point, but I do want to look at, so we got receiver, we got D lineman. I want to see the linebacker room as well to see. Oh man, my guy's there too, Torian York. So it would basically be coming down between Torian York and Justin Joly. Oh man, that would be tough. It's too big of a need at tight end. Let's go with Justin Joly at tight end.
Okay, so you go defensive line, wide receiver, tight end in rounds 1 through 3. Mm-hmm. You're sitting in round 4. Yep. What would you do?
So this is where I like the idea of looking for some sort of interior offensive lineman or a tackle hybrid. Bo Stevens, I love. Let's see who the tackles would be.
Drew Shelton is here in round 4.
Okay.
Some people really like him. Some people are like round 4 is still too early.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, I don't know. For me, it's like, can he contribute at guard in year 1? I'm not necessarily sure that's for sure the case. I like Bo Stevens a lot here. I think at pick 108, Bo Stevens makes sense.
Okay, and if he's at the top of the board, you're not the first one to pick him for Denver. So you have fans that agree with you.
All right, I love it.
Simulator. So Lee Hunter, Chris Bell, Justin Joly, Bo Stevens, 2nd, 4th round pick.
All right. Second. All right, so let's check out the linebacker room. Oh man, I was hoping. All right.
Kyle Lewis is here.
I love Kyle Lewis. I don't, a lot of people have him as like a safety because he's really undersized. I
Right.
mean, I would be totally fine because he's such a good cover linebacker, and we could he's amazing in coverage. He
Yeah.
could be kind of a hybrid in the box guy, play a lot of
There would
different.
be debate that he might be duplicate to Barron.
In a way, I mean, yeah, I can see that. In a sense of like you won't play a lot, is what you mean?
Well, just in the sense that they would both be some type of slot safety hybrid.
Yeah, yeah, there would be. I mean, and also like I see him, he would play a lot in that Hufanga role, which would that open up some, you know, opportunities for Hufanga to play elsewhere. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you could go with him, but I mean, he would be fun. I'll definitely consider him. And then, so we got, I'm just trying to think. We got there it is: Hunter, Bell, Jolie, and Stevens. All right, so let's check out the running back room real quick here too.
So Mike
Oh, yeah.
Washington, Roman Hemby are both
All
here
right.
at the end of round 4.
Yeah, Mike Washington would be my pick. I'm glad I looked there. I love him. I think he's a day 2 guy easily, but
Yeah, and
end of
actually, I
round
like
4.
the Kendall Daniels shout out as well.
Yep.
Okay, so the simulator starts a second mock, and Lee Hunter is sniped 8 picks before you're on the clock.
Okay,
Thoughts
so
on what you would do here?
All right, so Lee Hunter's gone. We got Kristen Miller. We got CJ Allen, Omar Cooper, Dunker. Yeah, I'd roll with CJ Allen here still. I just think he's
Okay. And if the players you like are at the top of the board, it's because of every user that's doing a mock draft for Denver is agreeing with you.
yeah.
Right, which is unusual, but I also know that Jolene uses the simulator a lot and Gabe uses it a lot. And they're both draft professors that are Broncos fans.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I love it.
So in round 2, Chris Bell was sniped 8 picks before you were on the clock.
Okay.
What would you do in round 2?
All right. So in this particular case, we got Allen, which I love the idea of. Let's check out the. Let's take a look at the wide receivers.
Lane, Fields, Williams.
Okay. Yeah. So
Eric
in this
Withers
case,
is here. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then let me just to make sure. Let me just take a look at the defensive lineman.
Okay. Darryl Jackson Jr. versus the field.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then let's take a look at linebacker. We took CJ Allen in this case, so.
Oh wait, that's right. Thank you.
No, you're good. And then how about the tackles?
Isaiah World is here.
Yeah,
PJ Williams is here.
He might miss the whole year. Okay. Let's go wide receiver. Let's go Malachi Fields here. I'm a huge fan of him, and I think that would be a perfect spot to take him.
Okay, so love it. CJ Allen, Malachi Fields, rounds 1 and 2. Where does your round 3 head go, Mark?
All right, so here we got Malachi, we got CJ Allen. Let's take a look. Yeah, Max Clare is there. He would be interesting. He would be a good fit. Oh man, that was someone that I was thinking of, and it just totally escaped my brain. Oh yeah, let's go to D-line. I remember it now. All right, so man, Grayson Halton would definitely be my favorite fit of the guys available. I'm just trying to think, would I take him over a Max Clare? And I feel like I actually would. I do. I feel like I would. I like Grayson Halton a lot. I think he's flying up boards. Yeah, let's go ahead and take him.
Okay. And I like, Mark, how you're saying, okay, you identified a tight end, but would I take the defensive lineman over the tight end? That's exactly the way to think about this, because we'll probably have a chance to talk about those other players later, but pick the guys you like best.
Yeah.
And the simulator will mimic your board.
Yep.
So
like
CJ Allen, Malachi Fields, Grayson Holton, rounds 1 through 3.
Okay.
What are you going to try to accomplish in round 4? You haven't done tight end or running back or offensive line.
Yeah, I have not. All right, let's take. So these are the interior guys.
Yep. I'm looking to see if anybody. So JC Davis, Josh Thompson are both here.
Okay.
Jeremiah Wright is also here.
All right. And then how about at tackle?
Bowery. Keegan Trost is here. Some people really like him. Emil Wagner is here.
Man, I do like a few of those guys. All right, so we go. And then how about at tight end? Who is available at tight end here?
So this is round 4.
You know, let's have a little bit of fun with this. I love Eli Raridan. The medical is going to be huge, but man, he would fit the bill. I feel like he would be somebody that Denver really likes. So let's go with Raridan, and then maybe we'll do O-line here with the second, fourth.
Okay, and then interior offensive lineman Matt Golbin is here. Trey Zoom, Sam Hecht.
I like Sam. Is Keelan Rutledge at all available, or Shrouth from Notre Dame?
He usually goes round 3 on this.
Yeah, I figured. Let's do Jalen Farmer. I like that. I like that pick a lot, actually. I think Farmer would be a really good guard for us.
Love it. Okay, so the simulator is finishing its second mock. It's about to start the third. And usually when it's going this slow, it means somebody is using the simulator at the same time we are.
Okay. Who is it? Who is it, guys? Come on, show us in the chat.
It's all good. It's all good, right? So Fanatic mode definitely takes a little bit of resource because it has to remember all the picks.
Yeah,
but
that's cool.
So when it starts the next mock, you'll see that Lee Hunter and CJ Allen are sniped before pick 30. This time Denzel Boston dropped.
Yeah. I would take Denzel here.
Okay. I like it. So far, every single time you've picked in round 1, you've been able to pick the top player on the board. And that just tells me Denver fans have used the simulator more than
Broncos
once.
country. Broncos country loves the draft, man.
They do.
You know, they maybe a little bit too much. We kind of overthink it, and then all of a sudden, no one's ever happy.
Okay, so Denzel Boston round 1. In round 2, Chris Bell and Malachi Fields sniped before you're on the clock at 62.
Okay, no worries. So we got our receiver there. Looking at the D line, I mean, I like those guys. I'm not overly thrilled. It's funny how there's like a there's like a tier you kind of put it at. Let's look at the linebackers. Oh, I love that. Okay. All right. So I think I might have an idea. Just for good measure, real quick, let's look at the tackles. Yeah. Okay. All right. In this case, I would roll with Jake Golday, the linebacker. I think I would do it over Jacob Rodriguez. And just from a fit standpoint, I do like Jake Golday a lot.
Yep. And you had at least one person in the chat which agreed with you.
Nice. TW, okay, my man. All right.
This mock is Boston Golday rounds 1 and 2. What are you thinking in round 3?
So round 3 is where I like, I like the idea of obviously the trenches, whether on the defensive line or O-line, and then running backs kind of stick out to me too, especially if you've gotten those two. I'm trying to think of like, okay, for the Broncos. Like I love Darrell Jackson. I just don't know if he's a fit for Denver.
Got it.
Because I find him as like a true nose there. Let's look at the interior offensive lineman. Logan, John, Pat.
So we're in round 3, and I'm looking for Rutledge. So Casey's off the board and Rutledge is off the board.
Yeah, I figured he's kind of rising up draft boards a lot. I know we took Jalen Farmer in the last draft, and I think he's someone that could be really good too. He might have been, but you know, I want to make it fun and do different guys. So remind me again who he took here. We took Boston
and Golday.
Okay. Let's look at the running backs.
Emmett Johnson's at the top of the board. Katrin Allen is also here.
Yeah.
And this is round 3.
Yeah. Okay. Man, that's.
And I'm just making sure that nobody funny is felled.
Yeah.
No. All good.
No. Okay. Oh man, this one I'm struggling with a little bit, which is good. I like it. All right, one last look at the tackles. Oh, this is tight ends too. Okay, tight ends would be good. Okay.
I'll look at the tackles for you too. I was just doing that just to give you a chance here to ponder.
Yeah.
So, and just as an FYI, the boards from one mock to another when you do fanatic mode will not change much. One player each round is going to drop to you.
Okay.
So, for example, at some point, Carson Beck is going to drop to you. Okay. I don't think Denver's going to take him.
Okay. I got you.
PJ Williams might drop, Antonio Wright. So each of these guys between Halton and your pick will likely drop to you. But if Bud Clark isn't on your radar, then it doesn't matter. You're going to have to find somebody else to pick anyway.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. No, I like it. Yeah, so let's do Max Clare. I mean, I think that's the most obvious pick here. The tight end, yeah. I mean, it's good value too in round 3. So we'll go with Clare. So we got Boston, Golday, Max Clare.
What are you thinking in round 4? So we haven't done either line yet.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of where my mind went.
Now, for a round 4 interior defensive line, I like this board.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of really good players. Zane Durant is someone that actually stood out to me. Penn State's got kind of sneaky a lot of really good players in this draft that are a lot of fun. And then there's Corleone is interesting as well. Let's go. Yeah, let's go with Zane Durant. I like it. Let's have some fun with it.
Tim Keenan was also here. He was just on the 3rd page.
Okay.
So. But it sounds like you're looking for more of the 3 tech or the upfield rusher.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, more of a 3 tech, and that's why I like Zane Durant. I mean, he might be a little bit shorter than you like, but I see the upside there in comparison, like the rest of the guys that were there. So that's a good call there.
So Boston, Golday, Clare, Durant, and you haven't taken an offensive lineman in this mock. Is there another round 4 offensive lineman that you like on this list?
I like Sam Hecht. Now, I know he's more of like he's a true center. He could probably play some guard, but I like Hecht a lot. And let's see the tackles, if you don't mind, real quick.
Yep. Jeremiah Wright is also here.
Yeah. DJ Jeremiah Wright.
So it's Wagner against the field. Some people like the Memphis tackles.
Yeah. I've seen that. And there's a lot of hype kind of building around Diego Pounds too. I know he's like massive. He might be a little raw. Let's go with Emil Wagner. I like it.
Okay. So that was the third of the 8 mocks. And these will get harder, especially I think they tend to get harder in rounds 2 and 3 than they do in the other rounds, just based upon people are thinking they're going to target somebody and then the simulator doesn't drop them to their spot.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It's like you can hear, you can hear us too.
Yeah. So this is a different one because when we did the first round challenge, Caleb Banks never dropped to us. So Caleb Banks dropped a pick 30 with
Interesting.
Hunter, Allen, and Boston off the board.
I see what it's doing. I like that. Oh man. I mean, yeah, Caleb Banks is he's a stud. I think he'd be too good. I mean, yeah, I would take Caleb Banks pretty happily.
Again, we're taking the top guy in round 1 every time, and that we do these podcasts with every team. Mm-hmm. This is the first time that we're picking the guy at the top of the board every time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we get to round 2 after Caleb Banks, and in round 2, Chris Bell, Malachi Fields, Jake Golday all sniped before you're on the club.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So in this one, I'm actually glad this happened because I like this scenario too. I like Jadarian Price here. Take the running back in round 2 again. Okay. And we'll see. So Caleb Banks, Jadarian Price. I dig it.
Okay, so we haven't had a chance to talk about round 3 wide receivers yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And this is the beauty of fanatic mode. You're going to start picking positions out of order, right? Yep. The first couple of times you went wide receiver in rounds 1 or 2. Any thoughts on wide receivers that you like in round 3 here?
Oh, yeah. You see, like that, this is where it gets tough and why, like, I feel like if we don't address receiver in round 1 or 2, it's a crapshoot. I'm not a Jacoby Lane fan at all. Skylar Bell, I like. I don't know how much he fits. Oh, you got Heidenreich as a receiver. That's interesting. I like that.
Burks is here.
Okay.
Lewis Bond is here.
I'm really getting into Lewis Bond. I just started actually really watching him, and he's piquing my interest. The guys at the top, have
you watched Malik Benson yet?
No.
So he's probably going to be duplicate to Troy Franklin. Okay. And this isn't helmet scouting. Yeah. But Malik Benson at the combine is going to turn some heads.
Okay. That's good to know.
So that's a good player to watch.
Yeah.
And we're in round 3, too early for Chris Hilton, but that's a player I like. That's one of my favorite day 3 guys. Chase Roberts, again, one of my favorite day 3 guys. Brennan Thompson is also here.
Oh, I love Brennan Thompson, man. He's fun. He's talk about turning heads at the combine. He might challenge that. He might challenge that Xavier Worthy record. I mean, one guy that piqued my interest, if you want to go back to page 1, was Kevin Coleman. I really liked what I seen from him too. He kind of is like that smaller slot guy that I felt like was, runs pretty tough. But I mean, to be honest, like I don't love any of these guys in the third, so I'd probably just skip it. Remind me on this one. We took Banks and Price. Let's see the tight ends.
So Stowers is here, Wright is here, Royer, Marlon Klein is somebody who I think needs to get more late day 2 attention.
Totally. I totally agree with that. Okay, and then let's look at
Sam Roush is also probably here. He's just not on the first page.
Gotcha. Yeah, I love Sam Roush as well. So let's see the tackles really quickly.
Same list. PJ Williams is here. He doesn't usually make it to round 4.
Yeah. This is another interesting one. I mean, I haven't looked into Isaiah World that much. I know he got hurt. I think he broke his foot. He's going to be out for the year most likely, I think is what it was. But it's interesting with him because it's like is he the Chris Bell of tackles, right? I mean, can he be a really good future starter? That's kind of something that I try to think of. Like, I don't necessarily know that. But I know he's a massive guy. right, let's do let's go to the tight ends. I think we're gonna roll with tight end on this one.
And I love the comment from TW in the chat about Ted Hurst. So this simulator is interactive. So what that means is that the players that Mark is picking here are moving up a Denver Broncos player board, and they're more likely to be drafted by Denver when other users do their mocks.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reason that the good players aren't here on this simulator. It's because as they get picked, they move up, and it makes sure that they get picked.
Yeah.
So
no, it's super cool. I mean, I like that because it allows, like, you think so much more than just doing other simulators where you're basically choosing like the same guys in different orders, or maybe you're switching it up. I mean, I love the idea that it kind of gets your brain rolling a little bit. Because even in this one, like,
there's players that you're taking in round 3 that other people are saying, I'm not going to take until day 3.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to have your own grades and use them to represent Denver.
Yeah. No, exactly. And that's why, I mean, here, like, I'm basically going back and forth between Sam Roush and Joe Royer. I started looking into Joe Royer. He's someone that could make a lot of sense for the Broncos too. But I mean, Sam Roush was one of my original kind of draft guys early that I feel like his game's going to translate. So if he's available, yeah, let's roll with Sam Roush in the 3rd. I like it.
Okay, so that's Caleb Banks, Jadarian Price, Sam Roush. Haven't addressed wide receiver or offensive line.
Yep. Let's look at the receivers first.
Okay, so I like this. So now we're talking about round 4 wide receivers.
Yeah. So this is where I would feel really good going with like a Kevin Coleman.
Okay.
At 4. Yeah. So we'll go with that. And then we can look at the.
They haven't done offensive line or linebacker.
Yeah.
So this is a round 4. This is a late round 4 linebacker board. Somebody had mentioned Kendall Daniels in the chat.
Mm-hmm. Kind of the Kyle Lewis comparison there, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are really high on Bryce Betcher. I'm not as high as a lot of people are. It seems like it's really back and forth. I mean, I like him. I'm not necessarily in love with him. And then there was someone at the top. Oh yeah, Kyle Lewis is still there. And then at the top here,
Lost.
This red Murdoch. It's
oh yes.
Shout out to you for having him this high on this board, because he's not like that anywhere else. But I have him starred as somebody to look into as well. So I'm not gonna take him because I don't know enough about him. But I have seen some buzz and heard a lot. I mean, his stats at Buffalo are pretty wild. Yeah. But let's do
So he's there because somebody picked him high.
Yeah. No, I love that.
So you're giving me credit for having him that high. I'm giving all the credit to the Denver fan that picked him high.
All right. Well, shout out to the Denver fan. But shout out to you for having this platform, because this thing is awesome. I guess we'll look at one more. Let's just look at the O lineman and see if there's anyone that kind of piques my interest there.
So I think Jeremiah Wright.
Yeah.
And then J.C. Davis and Josh Thompson. So Josh Thompson lasting to late round 4, to me, feels like some of the best value that we see.
Interesting. Okay. I haven't gotten too deep in O-line yet. Really looked at the top guys on the interior.
I'll give you a brief synopsis on Thompson. So Thompson's got a nasty streak. He played at Northwestern, transferred to LSU.
Okay.
Right. He has reps. You can get game film of him playing tackle. He's going to be an NFL guard, but you'll be able to see film of him playing the tackle and on the interior. So, in round 4, getting a player that has some flexibility, because he probably won't crack the starting lineup, gives him a really good path to the 53.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm looking for, right? Like I love the idea because I feel like we will have an open competition at left guard, which we should. And, if he's someone that played the guard position at LSU, but has played tackle prior, I do like that. So, I mean, you sold me on someone like him. I'll definitely mark it down.
Yep. And then another player that fits that description, I think he's still here, is J.C. Davis from Illinois, because he was a tackle at Illinois. We have him in the simulator as a guard. But again, very similar player, right? He played a lot of games at tackle in the Big Ten, right? Just probably kicking into guard at the next level. So that would be another player. If you haven't watched J.C. Davis, I would make that recommendation too.
Love it. Josh Thompson, J.C. Davis. All right, let's roll with Josh Thompson. And I'm going to take a lot of good notes coming out of here because I usually look at O linemen last. They're one of my last, like, offensive linemen. Yeah. Usually the last that I really, really dig into. But this year I put a little bit more of a star next to a lot of guys because I really do want the Broncos to finally address that. It's been God knows how long since we've actually drafted a tackle or taken an interior guy higher. So.
Okay, so now we're starting the 5th of the 8 mocks that we're doing for Fanatic mode. So things will begin to get a little bit more difficult in the middle rounds because the good players that you typically target won't be there.
Okay.
So in this one, Hunter, Allen, Boston, Banks, all the players that you've picked, sniped. Casey Concepcion dropped. Omar Cooper Jr., Jennings Dunker. Christian Miller is here.
Okay, I love it. So this is one of those where if the board felt like this, like the exciting guys would be Casey or Omar Cooper or even Emmanuel McNeil-Lauren. But I feel like the smart Broncos move would be Jennings Dunker. That's who I would want us to take in this particular scenario.
Okay.
Because for that exact thing, like I think he could be really good at tackle and I think he could be really elite at guard. I like that guy a lot. And he's got a phenomenal mustache. So that's always a positive. That's always a positive too.
Okay. So you go Dunker round 1.
Yeah.
When we get to round 2, just to review. So you've been targeting defensive tackles, but I don't see a round 2 defensive tackle on the board.
No.
Okay. You've been targeting wide receivers.
Well, Grayson Halton is probably taken now because I took him in the 3rd round, I think. But is he available?
Correct. So it won't let you pick him. You are correct. Cool. It won't let you pick him.
I like it.
So wide receivers, you didn't like Lane. I don't know if you're round 2 on Antonio Williams. Right. So the wide receiver board doesn't really look all that good at the end of round 2.
No.
Okay. So running back at the end of round 2, Jonah Coleman and Emmett Johnson are there.
Yeah, I like both those guys. I would probably lean Coleman in this scenario for the over Emmett Johnson, even though I kind of like Emmett Johnson more as a prospect in the NFL. I think Jonah would fit the Broncos more. And then let's see what they got in. And then Jacob Rodriguez is there. Yeah, I mean he's someone that would make a whole lot of sense too. And then how about a tight end?
Would you go Coleman over Rodriguez or Rodriguez over Coleman?
I would probably go Rodriguez over Coleman because anyone that's followed I'm not like the biggest guy on like taking backs high, even though I know I took Jadarian Price because I think he's a 1st-round talent. I took him in the 2nd, but I've never been a big fan of drafting backs too early. Like it's just a weird thing that I've always had. But yeah, I like Jacob Rodriguez there.
So if you go Dunker Rodriguez, what would you do in round 3?
Oh, let's look at which tight ends are available. We can have a little bit of fun, like because I mean I feel like even though I don't feel confident that Eli Stowers would be someone that the Broncos would like in the 3rd round, I'd be pretty thrilled with him. So I'd be thinking about him. And then Darrell Jackson's another guy where it's like it's one of those where talking 3rd round, you're talking BPA, it might just really it just might work out. So I mean
and this is going to give you a really thin 3rd round board by the time we're done.
Yeah.
So
which
Jackson or Stowers?
which makes it fun. Let's go with Stowers.
Okay. So this mock is Dunker, Rodriguez, Stowers. So no defensive line or wide receiver yet, and we're in round 4.
Yep. Oh man, I should have waited on linebacker. Damn. Because I love Torian York. I think he'd have been great here. All right. So in terms of receivers, you're talking 4th round. Yeah, it's so wild how about is Bryce Lance available?
He is.
Anywhere?
He's here. He's just not on the first page.
Okay. He'd be fun, and I'd be fine with him in the 4th. He's a little bit of an older prospect, but man, he was good. I mean, he was really, really good at North Dakota State. I like the size there, so let's switch it up. Let's go with Bryce Lance. Yeah,
love it. Okay, and then we have another 4th round pick, and we've gone interior offensive line, linebacker, tight end, wide receiver.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to ideally look at D-line if there's somebody here.
So now, are you looking for a 3-tech?
Yeah.
Rayshon Benny.
Let's do it. I think it was Andy that brought him up, actually.
Yep.
I remember I'd started that one. All right, yeah, let's go with Rayshon Benny. I like it. I'm gonna write that one down.
And late 4th feels like equal value for Benny. Like, I don't think you're getting value there. Like, he's not necessarily graded that much higher. But by the time you get to round 5, Benny would begin to become a BPA at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah, and that's another thing. And I'm sure you probably do your rankings like this, but when you're looking at D linemen, do you typically do like, okay, these are my top 5, nose tackles. These are my 3 techs, type of a thing. Yeah.
Because everything is about scheme fits.
Yeah.
Everything, right? So what the defensive tackle board for Buffalo looks like and what it looks like for Denver won't be the same, even though we just got one of Denver's defensive coaches as our defensive coordinator. They're not going to be the same because Buffalo has more than enough to play the 3-tech or the 4-eye.
Yeah.
But we don't have the players to play the nose. So if they can't play the nose, they're not really, Buffalo wouldn't even consider them until day 3.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. Like, that's why I'm back and forth. Like, I like Grayson Halton is someone that every time I watch him, I'm just like, man, this kid's so good. Can he be a 3-tech? Andy was talking about, I think he'd be great. And then I'm going back and forth and saying, is he going to be a little bit too small for the position? But it's like, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, cause like he's so good at being able to get after the passer in certain situations. I mean, sometimes you got to look past the measurables and just be like, yeah. So that's always the thing that I get confused with. And then there's even guys that are listed at edge that would be great 3-tech, hand in the dirt defensive,
right? Like LT Overton. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Akeem Mesidor obviously is another one of those. And then like last year we took Savion Jones. He was listed at edge the whole time, but he's gonna be playing in that defensive lineman role too. So, all right. So now we're back to round 1.
Right, and Dunker, Banks, Boston, Allen, Hunter, all sniped before your pick.
Okay. I love it. Well, again, I love Emmanuel McNeil-Laurin, but Omar Cooper has always been one of my draft crushes. So I feel like it's a little early. I don't know about the fit. I don't think it's early, actually. I think he's worthy of a first-round selection for the Broncos. But if it felt like that, yeah, I'd be thrilled with Omar Cooper. I think he'd be a good.
Okay, and then we get to round 2, and your favorite round 2 players, which include, and I'm sitting here scrolling.
Golday.
Yeah, so Rodriguez, Price, Golday, Fields, Bell, all sniped before your pick.
Okay.
No defensive lineman dropped.
No.
I don't think there's a round 2 linebacker here.
No. Yeah, this is where it gets tough. So
Michael Trigg is here. He's not usually there in round 3.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not the biggest. There's some
Okay.
concerns there with him. Let even the save. Oh, you know what? You know who I would take here? I'll probably go with Tiernan, the tackle. I don't know if he's been available in the past. I just
Yep. Good
he's
call.
someone that kind of yeah. I'd probably roll with Tiernan there. I think that would be a really good.
I like that. And again, you're digging on the board as I'm flashing different positions and guys are catching your eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
the issue with
awesome.
Trigg, there's a comment on Trigg here in the chat. I think the issue with Trigg is that there's still a lot of projection. So I think we like the athlete, but the results on the field don't match the athletic ability that we see.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of character concerns, and like I don't like to dig into that because I don't obviously know the player, and all of it is speculation. But there's character concerns in terms of like from a work ethic standpoint, and there are a lot of times I see him, he's just kind of checks out. He doesn't really want to block. He kind of doesn't run through. So you kind of see some of that. So I think that's one of the big red flags for me when it comes to Michael Trigg as well. But like just an athletic freak of nature, that's for sure.
Okay, so Omar Cooper Jr., PJ Williams in rounds 1 and 2. Thoughts on round 3?
Oh, was it Tiernan that was taken or PJ Williams? Oh, you put PJ.
Oh, I meant to take Tiernan.
It's the same.
I thought I clicked on Tiernan. That was my mistake.
It's okay. We obviously it's just same position, so it's not really gonna change anything, anyways. Obviously. All right, so we got our tackle, we got our receiver. BPAs here.
So any more round 3 tight ends that you like?
I'm getting there on Joe Royer. I really feel like he'd be a decent fit for what Denver wants because he can block well. Daquan Wright as well. I like Daquan. I had him a little bit higher also. There's just, man, the combine's going to be so big for Daquan Wright in my opinion. And then Marlon Klein, like I'm really intrigued by him. My whole concern is the third a little early, which in general I would say no, but for the Broncos, again, because the Broncos have been so weird. Like Sean Payton's so weird with how he manages his tight ends. And so it's just like, I think they would just give him a redshirt year, which I don't like for a 3rd round pick. Whereas Daquan, I feel like, or Joe Royer would at least contribute a little bit earlier. So I would consider one of those two guys. We got our tackle. I don't think there's any defensive lineman right now that would be
no
kind of the same. Yeah, it's kind of like the same bunch there. Let's go with Daquan Wright here, the tight end.
So Daquan Wright, round 3.
Yeah.
So that's Omar Cooper Jr., PJ Williams, Daquan Wright. We'll get Tiernan next time. And then we have 2 round 4 picks. And Taurine York is here round 4 right
now. Yep. That's my pick. I love that kid. I think he's going to be so good.
Okay, and then so Omar Cooper Jr., PJ Williams, Daquan Wright, Taurine York.
You ever had a prospect you look at and you know that his measurables are just like not good, but you don't really care?
So Xavier Harris is there as a defensive lineman at the end of round 4. Significant character concerns.
Okay.
But he is the top player.
I've heard a little bit, like some people really like Cameron Ball. From my understanding, he's a little bit more of like just that run stuffer. He's not going to give you much flash, but he's a pretty solid run stuffer guy. Albert Regis. I mean, that A&M defense in general was fun.
So I think Ball and Regis are in the same tier. The question is that later or is that now? Based upon how the board has fallen and what you need.
Yeah. So we got York, we got our linebacker, we got our receiver, we got our tackle.
We haven't done running back yet.
Let's look at the backs.
So Hemby is here at the end of round 4. That's by far my favorite player.
Yeah.
But Robert Henry, I also like, as is Kalen Black.
I like Kalen Black. I just see him as a little bit more of a later. I was saying in the Discord a couple of days ago, he kind of reminds me a lot of Kyle Monangai, who I loved last year. Like he's not going to be flashy, but he's just going to be solid. Dean Connors is fun, but he's not going to be someone I would take here. Is it Desmond Reed or Damon Reed? I've seen both. Like but yeah.
Okay, I'll go check. I'll check the spelling. I have Desmond.
I've seen both. I really have. So, yeah. I mean, MB. I don't know about. Yeah, I don't really like. I like all the backs. These backs are fine, just not so much in the fourth. Well, they wouldn't be the worst.
Okay, so we can look at the other positions we haven't talked about and see if there's any value. Like, I'm looking at the corner board at the end of round 4, and like I'm like, did anybody drop?
Yeah. How about Hezekiah Masses? What are your thoughts on him?
So this feels like it's a pretty good value pick. Some people have him round 3. This is the end of round 4. So this feels like his range.
Yeah.
My understanding is he's more of a zone. So you want to put him in like a cover 3, more of a zone scheme.
Yeah.
But
which wouldn't really work in Denver.
Yep. Edge, Max Llewellyn is still here. Mikael Kamara is here. And again, the whole purpose of doing like an exercise like this where you get into round 4 is it's going to challenge your thinking of what you think your team would do when you look at the board and you just say, that's not really that good of a board.
Yeah. Go back to the edge. So it was interesting. This is another example of that. So you had, I think on the bottom, Anthony Lucas, sorry. I thought I saw Anthony Lucas somewhere.
Yeah, he's probably still here.
Yeah.
Yep, he's on the second page.
So I could see him being a 3 tech, and we just signed the USC secondary coach to be our secondary coach. There's obviously a little bit of a relationship there. So I like
Anthony
that. Yeah,
yep.
Let's go with Anthony Lucas.
So, and again, I like that because you're looking for value at other positions. So Anthony Lucas, he hits like every measurable you want for the edge. Film doesn't match the measurables, but this is a big edge. I believe he's like 270 or 280 pounds.
Yeah.
So
he's big. He's a big boy, and like I said, it's just a lot of that is just like a connection with the coach that we just signed. But they typically like to. I mean, they love those 6'5" guys, the long edge guys, to be able to kind of mold them, and so this is kind of the part of the draft where I feel like you'd want to do that. So
okay, so Mark, we're doing the 7th of the 8 mocks. Hunter, Allen, Boston, Banks, Dunker, Cooper, all sniped before your pick. What would you do?
That's crazy. Okay, I love it.
Is it Kristen Miller, Casey Concepcion, or are you going to look deeper onto the board?
We can look. So like, okay. I don't know why. I like Concepcion. I don't like him so much for what the Broncos need, and I don't think they would like him. You know who I would be really intrigued by is Caden Proctor here. I think I saw him available.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like it would just make too much sense.
Because we go Caden Proctor round 1. I like it because how often are people posting a Caden Proctor to Denver Broncos mock?
No, not a lot. And again, like we're kind of one of those teams that's in that unique position to be able to take him because we don't need him to be a tackle, at least not this year. But man, what kind of a guard can he be at that size? Just an absolute mauler.
Yep.
And it could not work out, but at least he has that versatility. So.
Okay. And then Luke, who just dropped to round 2.
Yeah. Let's look at all the running backs there. I mean, all the wide receivers there. I'd be curious to see who else. Okay, so it basically just starts with the Jacoby laying down. I mean, Yeah, I mean, Ted Hurst is a fun player. He would definitely be someone that I would consider. Okay, let's see. Is yeah. So Jeremy Bernard continuously is gone here. And then goal. I'm guessing Gold Days. Yeah, Gold Days
Yeah,
gone.
because we
That
picked
makes
him
sense because
earlier.
we took him already.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So like Bell, Fields, Golday, Price, Rodriguez, Williams. Oh, and then we did Caleb Tiernan is here, but we took a tackle in round 1.
Okay. And then how about defensive line?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
McClellan
it's
and
the same guys.
Jackson versus the field.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go Ted Hurst.
Okay,
That'd
so
be a
this
fun.
is Proctor, Hurst. What are you thinking in round 3? Are there more third-round tight ends that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, there could be. That's kind of where my mind was going because we know the D linemen. We've kind of gone down that hole again in terms of who's going to be available. We'd probably be looking at tight end.
Okay, so Klein is still here. Royer is here. And I think you said last time you liked Royer over Klein.
For the Broncos team, yes. In general, I would probably, like I always say, go for the high upside guy. And that's what Klein is. But for what the Broncos are looking for, I would say Joe Royer is probably the choice here. So let's roll with Joe Royer.
Okay. So this is Proctor, Hurst, Royer. We haven't done defensive line. So this one, Chris McClellan dropped around 4.
Yes.
He hadn't dropped around 4 before.
I do love that at that range. So yeah, man, it's so crazy because Darrell Jackson's so tempting. Like the measurables on that kid is
do Jackson over. Well, okay, but different team.
Yeah. See, exactly. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if the Broncos took Darrell Jackson, I'd be like, all right, I'm excited to see where the hell they play him because he's a massive, just a big dude that we're missing on the D line rotationally. McClellan is like, he's solid, but he's still a big dude that doesn't necessarily fit better. So if it's between those two guys, I would probably take Darrell Jackson. And then in terms of, what are your thoughts on Deontay Lawson, the linebacker? I haven't really looked into him, but there's kind of been some people have him high, some people don't even have him. Do you know
this feels like the beginning of his range.
Okay.
So generally speaking, I think Lawson is going to be more of like a 2-down linebacker if you need somebody to come in and help you defend the run.
Yeah, like a Trotter
Lawson.
type.
He is not necessarily going to be an asset in pass coverage. Like Aiden Fisher's here. If you want a linebacker for pass coverage, just look a little bit further down the board.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Let's go with Darrell Jackson. Just beef up the trenches. He's a completely different guy than what we have on our team. So I just too attracted by that.
And love that in round 4. So as a round 4 pick, I think that's where Darrell Jackson, some people have him graded a lot higher.
Yeah.
But I think that's a projection.
I think he'll ultimately go higher than people think. Because did you see his measurables? I mean, teams fall in love with that. Like 35-inch arms, 11-inch hands. Like people just lose their mind about that. They love it.
Okay. So Proctor, Hurst, Royer, Jackson, Katron Allen fell to the late part of round 4.
Yeah, which he's intriguing. I do want to see linebacker real quick just to see who's available there.
So Fisher and Lawson are both still here.
Yeah.
Kendall Daniels is also here.
I do like Fisher, but I think that Katron is the value's too good there. Like he's the last of that tier of running back that I would consider here that I think really stands out. So I would go with Katron Allen.
Okay. 8th and final mock. Drum roll.
I love it. It's good. Yeah, this is so cool. It makes your brain really get rolling.
So, Mark, I appreciate your brain is rolling. When I designed the simulator, I wanted to create something that was not as easy. Oh,
No, it's
and
great.
look at what just fell to you.
Finally, it took 8. It took 8 mocks. Yeah, Kenyon Sadiq. Let's do that. That would be awesome. You know what the crazy thing is? I feel like if he actually fell to 30, I don't know if the Broncos would take him, but I would love that. Knowing our luck, but yeah, not yeah. Kenyon Sadiq would be a dream there.
Okay. So Sadiq round 1. And then when you get to round 3, Trotter dropped. He was not here before. But all of your favorite second round picks, which include Bell, Fields, Golday, Price, Rodriguez, Williams, Hurst, all sniped. Caleb Tiernan is here.
Yeah. All right. I take him. That's what I would go with for sure there.
Okay, so we go Sadiq and then Tiernan. What are you thinking you would do in round 3?
Depending on the receivers, I would look there. D lineman, I would look there. Or linebacker too.
So wide receiver Antonio Williams fell to round 3. I don't know how often he had been here. And then running back Emmett Johnson is at the top of the board.
Okay.
Defensive line, it's McClellan at the top of the board.
Mm-hmm.
Linebacker, it's Lawson.
Okay. So we got tight end and we got tackle.
And for example, just looking at other positions, like Dalen Everett is probably the best corner, even though Denver doesn't need a corner. Just looking at who's here for the other positions, the safety board is loaded, right? Husky, Clark, Smith, Taff, at the end of round 3.
Genesis Smith. Genesis Smith is someone that would be. He'd be really, really fun. That'd probably be my pick. Is Genesis Smith there?
Okay, I like it. So this is Sadiq, Tiernan, Genesis Smith. And again, all of your favorite round 4 picks, Grayson Halton, Max Clare, Sam Roush, Eli Stowers, Daquan Wright, Joe Royer, Genesis Smith, all sniped before your pick.
Love it.
So
That's crazy.
Right? Bo Stevens, Eli Raridan, Zane Durant, Kevin Coleman, Bryce Lance,
everybody.
York,
yep, they took them all.
The simulator knows how to snipe you.
Yeah.
That's what it's doing.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, no, that's why this is cool, because I even have 5, 6 guys now that I've starred. I'm like, I got to go watch them now, because if this happens, I'd like to know the options. But yeah, I mean, it gets a little bit trickier here, right? Because it's like, okay, do you want to go with somebody that comes to mind here would be Lewis Bond, Brendan Thompson. It's like you're going for such high upside with Brendan Thompson. I think Lewis Bond is just going to be someone that rises. And so
here, I didn't see him.
I think he was on the next page, maybe. I thought I saw him.
Okay. Yep. Oh, I do like Lewis Bond at this point, early 4th. I love Lewis Bond here.
Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll go with Lewis. All right, so now we got our tight end, our tackle, safety, and then Lewis Bond. Nice. And then
so in this one, Corleone dropped to the late 4th.
Yeah. Which is great. Really good value. Matt Gubin is available too. I'd probably roll a Corleone.
Okay. That finishes the Fanatic mode. So you just did 13 mock drafts in 75 minutes.
I love it.
How do you feel?
I feel great, man. That was good. Got my brain rolling. But ironically, I kind of liked my 8th one the most in a weird way. But
Well, you get Sadiq in round 1. I think that's every Denver's fan's dream.
Yeah. No, Sadiq was great. And then, Tieran in there, I think was such a solid round 2 value. And then what we get after that, it was I forgot, but Genesis Smith. That was fun. I like that one a lot too. Because I kind of wanted to take Emmanuel earlier on, but you got somebody that's still good. I love it, man. That was so fun. That was it's really unique too, because again, it allows you to look at different scenarios, naturally start looking at different players, and that's how you kind of grow out of your
comfort zone.
Your comfort zone and your initial thought, because that's the thing about the draft that makes it so crazy too, is like sometimes you'll just watch, you're like, man, we don't need a corner, but then you watch this guy and you're like, dude, he's so good though. Like, I don't really care if we don't need it. We can figure it out. Like, that's how the pick was with Jahdae Barron. I love Jahdae, and I was like, I just talked myself into being fine with it. We'll obviously see how it works, but you never know. There might be some guys that not necessarily a position of need, but you're just like, I think he's a really fun player, and you go and you look at him. So that's what this is all about.
I'm going through that when my team drafted Keon Coleman. Mm-hmm. But sometimes that can go a different direction when you have to talk yourself into liking a pick.
Yeah. How did you feel about Keon initially?
I was at that draft in Detroit, and I was not saying things that you would want your kid to hear after they made the pick.
Really? Okay.
Right. My initial reaction, I was like, I could have seen them go a lot of different directions, but I'm not always a fan of how Buffalo plans a year ahead. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big fan of, if you look at, for example, for Denver, look at their 2027 free agents. That's the list of positions that you need to make sure that you draft in some order in 2026, right? Draft a year ahead so that something might still be a problem, right? Because, you lose a specific player, you're not necessarily going to get an equivalent replacement, but you have a body on the roster that deserves an opportunity.
Exactly. You got a plan. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
Right. I don't know that Buffalo's GM, Brandon Beane, plans as well as my brain.
Yeah.
He does an okay job, but like the wide receiver room and the cornerback room, I think get neglected. Basically, corner is either round 1 or day 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole concept of a day 2 cornerback hasn't existed the entire time Brandon Beane has been the GM.
Which is interesting. I mean, because he's done a good job, like consistently drafting in the trenches, right? I mean, he's always getting those big defensive linemen. But it's like you can only have so many of them. Again, you don't want to ignore it. And I love that type of approach, because for me, it's like, yeah, the Broncos could use a tight end. They could use this, but man, they got 2 tackles that are very good, but they're aging out. They might eventually, their contracts are going to become a little bit more flexible after this year. And you don't want to, again, you don't want to get caught with your pants down. You're like, all right, well, now we don't have a left tackle and we have to reach for one. And then you find yourself in a desperate situation. So yeah, I agree. Having those guys in the pipeline is always really important. Who's your favorite Buffalo Bills pick for this year?
I think it's Ted Hirsch, round 1.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. That was surprising. People really. So you believe in Ted Hirsch that much?
Yeah, and I also think you knowing Brandon Beane, you're going to swing for upside. So there are some people that have Concepcion, and they would take Concepcion over Hurst. Mm-hmm. But overall, I think Hurst as a prototype is better than Casey Concepcion as a prototype.
Yeah.
Meaning Concepcion's really cool. You can get very creative with him. Mm-hmm. And I like that aspect of Casey Concepcion. But realistically, I think Ted Hurst is going to give you that outside boundary receiver
agreed.
that you're looking for. And if Hurst runs like a 4.35 at the combine, I don't even think he lasts the Buffalo.
Really interesting. Yeah, there's
Right.
been crazy
Now, we
buzz
think
with him.
he's going to run like 4.45.
Yeah.
But if he's a tenth of a second faster, I don't think he gets out of the top 20.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you 100%. Like Ted Hurst makes more sense than Casey Concepcion for Buffalo for sure. Because, again, you talk about bringing a unique aspect to the room. Whereas like, is Shakir and Casey, are they that much different, right, than what you already have? So,
well, there's one draft professor whose comp was for Casey Concepcion was Khalil Shakir on crack.
Yeah,
like I heard that. I'm like, yeah, I'm quoting that. I've been using that the entire draft cycle.
I like that. Khalil Shakir on crack, which is not a bad thing. If you can catch the ball.
Yeah. So, Mark, do you want to take a moment, introduce yourself to the Draft Professor audience, let them know about the Broncos podcast you have and the other draft content that you make?
Yeah. No, I appreciate the opportunity, man. So my name is Mark, lifelong Bronco fan. I'm a native here in Denver. You can find me on YouTube at Marcky Sports Denver. That's my Broncos channel. I did just start a NFL draft channel specifically as well. We talk about the draft only. It's NFL Mark Draft, Mark spelled M-A-R-C. And you can catch me there. And then on Twitter, we always have a good time. It's at Marky_sports on Twitter. But no, man, this has been so fun. Thanks for having me. And yeah, I just always love, growing the community, but just meeting so many great people through this whole YouTube thing. It's been really eye opening, and it's been a lot of fun for me. So that's where you can catch me out.
Well, we're gonna meet a few more people because your podcast is the Denver representative for Epic Mock 26.
Yeah, super pumped about that.
Yeah, so April 9th, 10th, and 11th, you will see us working together again, but we're going to be doing it on different podcasts. So Epic Mock 26 is 32 podcasters mock drafting against each other. Mark's podcast is going to hold the Denver Broncos War Room. His podcast will make all the picks for Denver, and we're going to have 31 other podcasts just like it all around the world.
Love it.
All podcasting at the same time, doing the same mock draft. Draft Professor has done this for years. The only difference is this year we're asking for everybody to podcast. Like usually we just do the mock and only a couple of us are podcasting. This year we want everybody. So it should be significantly bigger than last year. And last year the event was huge. So
love it.
I think last year we had 7,500 people watch the 3-day event for draft. Yeah. Like it was when we looked at what we did, and that was really our first year of podcasting as a group was last year. We looked at each other and said, okay, we did this right. We just need to keep doing it and do it better. Refine our craft. But, and for those of you in the chat, Draft Professor is here every day at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern. And then we have shows on Saturdays and Sundays. Fridays at 7, we do a group mock. So if anybody in the chat wants to draft for Denver, you can follow that podcast and draft for Denver. Andy's done it. Jolene's done it. Those are two Denver fans that follow Draft Professor quite a bit. But if you want to draft for Denver, you can just go to the Draft Professor Twitter page and you can sign up to draft for Denver. The podcasters this week will be Newt Weston and Dale Altman. So you might know Dale as Bengals and Brews. So Newt and Dale will be on the podcast. They will discuss every pick. So whoever you choose to pick for Denver, you're going to hear what their evaluation is. And then they move on to the next player. And we cover about 100 players in 150 minutes. So
amazing what you guys have built, man. That's so cool.
Yep. But we do want to close this down for Mark, myself, and the 80 podcasters at the Draft Professor. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you on a podcast again in about 30 minutes. Thank you, everybody.
Peace.